Folks, I thought I would record this video today because I've seen a very common theme just this week. I've seen the theme with two clients who are new startup accountants who I am coaching and mentoring for their first 12 months. I've seen Reza Huda on his Facebook group and page and on LinkedIn talking about this. I've just seen a video this morning even from Amanda C. Watts talking about this, and it's all about people have been looking at it or aiming it towards accountants, but to me it also applies to any small business owner out there at the moment who has got their own goals and their own ambitions. And it's something that is at the forefront of my own mind at the moment in relation to Cloud 360 Accounting, which is our business. And the theme is what business or what kind of business do you want? What kind of business are you trying to build? Why are you trying to build this business? What's your whole purpose? And it's all about setting your goals and designing the business that you want by choice and not by kind of default, or having a business which is controlled by you in terms of its direction rather than being controlled by everybody else. And it's something just I've seen very common this week, so I thought I would just talk about that briefly. First of all, from my own perspective, we're up and running 10 years. I would say the first 5 to 7 years were very, very challenging. They were very difficult. And it was because when I started out, it was the classic case that Michael Gerber talks about in the E-Myth Revisited. I was a technician who thought, to hell with that, I can do this myself. I can run my own show. And very much I had the skill set and the technical ability to be an accountant in practice, serving the public. But running an accounting business was completely different, and it really took me 5 to 7 years to get to grips with that and really have a wake-up moment to realise that this has to change. And even over the course of the last 3 years, there has been challenges thrown into the mix really in relation to my personal life. My own health was suffering at a point in time. My father passed away last year, and just all the other things that can happen in your life can present those challenges. The biggest lesson I've actually learned as an accountant running your own accounting business, and this to me applies to any small business owner and something I've picked up from the content of the likes of James Sinclair on YouTube, on his Entrepreneurs University podcast and so on, is really about getting the right people in the right seats. And that's been a challenge for me for 10 years, trying to recruit the right team, who have the right ability, they have the right culture kind of fit, and it's always been difficult. But I've made it more difficult myself in some of the decisions that I've made, and that's what I really wanted to share with people today. Two of the coaching clients I spoke to this week, I actually had almost the same conversation because they're having the same types of challenges. And the advice I would give now is completely flying in the face of what I did at the outset. When I started my accounting business and I started to attract clients, I was attracting any client for any service just to create cash flow. I brought in those clients without them asking for it with a discount. I brought in those clients and did extra work without charging for it, even though we discussed it was extra, but sure, I'll just get it done for you to try and create loyalty. All of these were mistakes that I was making to try and build a loyal client base. When the truth of the matter is, if you provide high quality services in good time and solve people's problems, you can and should be charging for everything that you do. And clients will pay you for that if you're upfront, clear and consistent in what you're doing. So that's the first issue. The second issue then is building up your team. And for me, it was very much a case of bringing in clients and then bringing in people to fulfill the gap in the resources that I had, and bringing in people who didn't have the skill set straight away. So I had faith in myself to be able to train them up and be able to do what I can do. And that, to some extent, I can do that. But the time that leaves me with to do the actual development of the business and the growth of the business, and even the headspace to think about the type of business that I wanted, it was really non-existent. Then at home, I had 2 young daughters, all within the space of a couple of years. So, the amount of time that you've got to actually think, what type of business do I want? Why am I doing this? It was all very, very limited. So my advice to my coaching clients this week, and my advice to you now, if you're in this position as an accountant or as a business owner, is you've got to recruit the right people and get them into the right seats straight away. So go and read the book called Traction. I found that absolutely amazing and inspiring, and loads of great ideas in there to get you to think about the entrepreneurial operating system of your business, which is all about the issues component and the people component and the data component, and all of these things coming together to create the type of business that you want that can be scaled. That's the thing. So recently I've kind of reversed the way I recruit in terms of the level to recruit at. Previously I would have, as I say, had enough work coming in to fulfill someone else's a role for someone else, and that's what I did. And I looked a year or 2 years ahead cash flow wise and says, yes, I can afford this. I went into my overdraft for one day in that 10-year period for £37.50. It was the end of September 2014. I absolutely had a bit of a heart failure. I thought it was a sign of my own failure. In actual fact, as an entrepreneur, that's what you should be doing. You should be just using whatever finance you can get available and make available to get your business to grow. It was, as James Ashford calls it, the curse of accountant thinking. Not wanting to take these risks. And for me, I thought I was taking calculated risks by hiring someone, knowing that I could afford it for the next 12 to 24 months. That's not calculated risk. That's just playing it safe. So within the last 6 months and during the period of the lockdown, I made a decision. I'm done with that way of thinking. I've now hired 2 fully qualified accountants to come in as part of the team. And they are now dealing with a lot of things that I would normally have dealt with in terms of the actual client service delivery. And it's going to free me up for the more important part of all of this, which is the client relationship stuff, and bringing in new clients of the right type that we want, alongside new work of the right type that we want to be doing for those clients as well. So that is calculated risk. Have I looked to see, can I afford 2 fully qualified salaries? Yes, I have. If I thought about the way I used to do it, or if I'm thinking the same way I thought a number of years ago, would I have hired these people? Absolutely not. I'll get more work on before I do that. This time it's time to free up my time, get the right people into the right seats, and I can sort the money side of it from there. That is calculated risk, and that's the way I'm going to grow this business over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, based on a 7 to 10 year plan that we've actually sat down and drawn out in the last few weeks as well. And with the coaching clients I'm talking to as well, it's starting up their own accounting firm and struggling to make ends meet slightly, or comfortable enough but ready to expand. And my advice is get the right people at the right level in quickly. Bringing in people who can do some of the sort of standardized work and the bookkeeping is fine. You're actually better outsourcing and automating as much of that as you can and bringing qualified people to do the higher end stuff. Keep yourself away from that as much as you can. And this applies to, as I say, all sorts of small businesses, all sorts of professional service business. Bring in the higher level that you can to free up your time immediately. So I hope you find that useful. I'd love to hear some comments on this video as well, or send me some messages if you'd like to chat about it any further. And in the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll catch up again next week.